Jaycie here. Welcome to Cartwheels and Banana Peels. Oh my gosh. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, because I tell you what, I'm certainly have a rocking day going on, and I'm really excited to be sharing these phenomenal women with you. Super, super excited. So as always, you know, I like to jump in pretty darn quickly, get straight to the point, because we are sitting around my virtual kitchen table and we are getting ready to share some interesting and funny stories. So let's just dive right in. Are you guys ready? Okay. So I'm going to pass that baton to you, Bridgetta. And I just have to say, I'm still hooked on your name. I just love her name. But anyway.
Oh,
so Bridgetta, would you
so
tell
much.
everybody who you are? You're welcome.
Yes. So my name is Bridgetta Newman, and I help busy women assess their current eating choices as they transition to a vegan, whole food, plant-based lifestyle.
And I love because you have like plants, like grass behind you. People spitting, I just have to say. Love it, love it, love it. All right, Laurie, we were talking before we came on. We actually have known each other so long, but yet we haven't talked in probably a decade. So it's kind of interesting. Laurie knew me before my name was Jaycie, though I don't talk about it a lot. So anyways, Laurie, who are you and what do you do?
Yes, my name is Laurie Handlers. I am a 2-time best-selling author. I've produced 3 films. Basically, I work with couples and singles around the issues of sex and relationship, and ridding people of shame, fear, and guilt from their bodies.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Awesome. All right, Lisa, you're up.
Hi. Okay, so I am a regenerative health practitioner, and I help other wellness practitioners add a proven nutrition protocol to their practice and earn consistent income at the same time.
Love it. Oh, we have such a diverse group today. I freaking love it. So as y'all already know, I'm your host and founder of Cartwheels and Banana Peels. And as a rebel storytelling coach, I help especially Gen X entrepreneurs tell stories that are stand out and make them absolutely unforgettable. So let's dive in, because I can hardly wait to hear these guys' stories. Guys'? That's not a word, y'all. We're making it one for Jaycie today.
You could say gals.
Right, because the guys were the other day. So
they were the other
ladies.
day, yeah.
This is the girls, the ladies, the women. We got it going on. The gals, that's what you said. So Bridgetta, what story have you brought to my table today?
Okay, so I'm going to tell you a story that is about 20 years old. My children were small. My children were probably 3 and 7 at the time. And if you guys are moms, you know what a challenge it is to get small children dressed and ready for church, as well as myself. So that's 3 people in the morning, 3 ladies getting dressed. And for whatever reason, my then husband opted out of going to church. So it's like, no worries, we're going on without you. So I get them all ready. I think there was like, a bead of sweat coming down my forehead, getting them in the car, getting them in the car seat, getting everybody strapped in, making sure we had the appropriate snacks. It was a whole production just to, for church early in the morning, and I'm not a morning person. And so we get in the car, we, pull up, we're in the subdivision, and the subdivision, it's a lovely subdivision, and it has a curve in the road. Well, as it would happen, some traumatic event happened in the back seat of the car. I didn't know what it was, but it startled me. Like one of the girls was screaming at the other, and I looked back to see what was going on and to ask them, what is going on? And it just so happens that I was at the curve of the road when that happened. I looked back, and the car's going to the left. In my subdivision, I look back around and I overcorrect. And now I ended up going up on the curb and hit the mailbox of somebody's home in my subdivision. And then there's this whoosh as the tire goes flat. And so the kids are screaming like, what? They're like, what happened? And I'm upset. And this is, I didn't have my cell phone. We're still in my subdivision. The car is flat. The kids are upset. I have just had all I can handle. and it's, you know, not even 10 o'clock in the morning. So now I've got to get the kids out of the car, unstrap the car seat, get everybody out. We do the shame walk down the street. The car is totally flat, and you know, and it's up on the curb of somebody's house. And it's like, okay, I do the shame walk with the kids down the street, back to the house, get my then husband and tell him what happened. He's like, what? You know, we show up at the door like, what is going on? And it's like, yeah, I need you to come up the street and fix the car. And then I need you to talk to the neighbors about their mailbox, which is, you know, sideways, and half of it's on the ground. It was one of those moments where I was just horrified and just felt like this is too much to ever have to deal with in life. And I think I'm gonna, you know, go to bed. So long story short, he dealt with that, got the car fixed, you know, made the arrangements with the neighbors on getting their mailbox fixed. And so my subdivision, I still live in the same subdivision, and there are 2 streets to get in and out. And ever since that happened, I would take the opposite street, so I didn't have to go past them again. You know, I did, like, you know, every so often at night, because I wanted to see how they fixed their mailbox. Like, did they get a whole new one, or did they just patch it up, or is it still, you know, in pieces? It was just so humiliating, so embarrassing. And so to this day, 20 years later, I still drive down that opposite street so that I don't have to see them. They probably don't even live there anymore. You know, the kids don't remember it, but it goes down as one of the most overwhelming days of my life that I get to relive every time I go down that, if I choose to go down that street.
There's
So
probably new people living there going, what is wrong
I'm
with
sure.
that lady? She refuses to drive by except at night to creep on our mailbox.
I know I look real creepy when I do go by, you know. Yeah. So yeah, just a reminder of a really bad day.
And you know, it's all okay. And that is what it's about. We all have things. Oh my gosh. So love it. That's great. Well, it's not great that you go like avoid that direction. It's great that you shared it to let other people know, hey, we're human, right? Things happen.
Yeah. Things happen.
I'm just glad everyone was okay. The kids were okay. You were okay in the end. Everything was fine. That's the main.
Everything was fine. I was just embarrassed, and still slightly embarrassed about it.
And it's okay. Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right. We're passing the baton. Laurie, what did you bring to the table?
Well, mine is a very different nature story. In 1996, I started studying sexuality. It was like it was a passion of mine. It was a side thing of mine. I was working in corporate America, and then in 1996 to 2000, I started consulting to the federal government. I was doing welfare to work programs, helping people get off the welfare rolls, because President Clinton said that that's what had to happen. And on the side, I was still studying sexuality. It was called Tantra. Well, in 2000, George W. Bush was elected. So this is a political story. In 2000, George W. Bush was elected, and he took all the contracts that we had for the feds and for the state governments and for city governments. I was winning awards for my work in helping people get employed and feel good about themselves, et cetera. And he gave all of those contracts to faith-based organizations, in other words, churches. I didn't own a church. I was a contractor, a government contractor. And so I said to myself, I had 15 employees. I had a whole business plan, operations, and it was like in a minute, based on a presidential decree, my business went down the tubes. So I said, sex always sells. From now on, I'm going to be a full-time Tantra teacher. And doesn't matter what side of politics you're on, I hold that George W. Bush did one good thing, because I've never looked back, and it's been years and years since then. And I've had a full-blown career teaching people about embodiment, how to be really good with this part down.
I love that, Laurie.
Thank you.
I freaking love that. Like, thanks, George Bush. Even if we don't like you, or even if we do. But thanks. Lots of couples are thanking him and they don't even know they're thanking him. Oh my gosh. It's a secret. Secrets no one knows. I love it. All right. Oh my gosh. Do you see how these are such cool? I love highlighting the differences in the stories, the differences that we get to tell that connect the right people to us. It attracts your people to you and repels the people that don't make sense, that aren't a good fit for you. So, I say it all the time, but I just love highlighting how we get to share different aspects, whether it's about how we started or whether it has something that has nothing to do with our business. I love it. So anyways, I'm going to pass the baton to you, Lisa.
Okay. Oh my gosh. I've loved you guys' stories so far. And when I found out this had to be a funny story, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like in health and wellness. How am I going to be funny? I don't think I'm funny, but I'll tell you, my kids think I'm funny or probably ridiculous. So I have 4 grown children now, and this happened about 7 years ago. So again, I'm a regenerative health practitioner, and I am super passionate about all things health and wellness. I'm really passionate about nutrition. And so my kids to this day will tell you that I made them drink a giant shake. We called it the green shake every single day before they could do anything else. And they hated it, and they still hate it. So they love to tell this story. And I will say, I don't necessarily agree with their side of the story, but it's probably funnier than the way I remember it. Kind of says a lot about me as a mom. So, okay. So it's Christmas Eve, and I have, we do all of our Christmas Eve traditions. We have breakfast, and then we bake cookies all day, and then we go to church. And I had, planned everything out appropriately. And all of a sudden it's right before church, and it was an evening church, and everyone's like, well, we're hungry. What's for dinner? And I had planned on something for after church, but it's really like 3:00 and no one's really eaten since breakfast. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? Like, well, let's have some fruit. And they're like, Mom, it's Christmas Eve. We want something fun. Which always in the past we have. For some reason, I just hadn't thought of it. And so the kids love to tell the story, and they're always saying, Mom, can we tell your clients where we spend Christmas Eve? And I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys are awful. Okay. So we ended up at McDonald's. It is the most embarrassing story ever. I am so you couldn't. This isn't an anti-McDonald's thing. If you like it, that's fine. That's on you. But I wouldn't. It's just not something I eat. I choose never to eat that. I didn't let my kids eat it. So they took pictures for proof. I'm mortified. First of all, what a terrible mom. I didn't even plan something for what to eat. And then they thought it was, and I was bullied into going and sitting at McDonald's. And yes, they think it's super funny and tell that story to this day. So there you go.
Oh my gosh. That's great.
That's great.
I do. I love that. And it shows your vulnerability as a mom. I mean, we're people. Just because we're moms doesn't mean we're superheroes.
Right. Well, they think we are.
Not every day.
Yeah. Until they hit a certain age, and then they're like, really?
Yeah, exactly.
Till they hit another certain age, and they go, oh, you were right. I'm like,
yeah. Thank you.
So here's one thing that I like to do, because being the storyteller, I like to walk into these shows with you guys without bringing a story. I don't know what I'm going to tell. So as I'm listening, I'm waiting for something to trigger me. And this is the reason I do this, is to set an example, because this is one of the things that I teach my clients is your back pocket stories. Have something you can pull out that is just relatable. We were talking about kids. Mind you, this is like completely going down kind of a different road. It's a really short story, in all honesty. But I remember being in kindergarten, and this little boy came up to me and kissed me. It's kindergarten, whatever, right? And his name was Troy. I won't give his last name just in case, but anybody that knows me from my hometown will probably know who he is. But anyway, so I was like, okay, no big deal. That was that, whatever. I never had a crush on him. And this was a small town, so we grew up all the way from kindergarten through graduation together, right? Graduation. I said that funny. But I was a cheerleader in high school, and I don't know what year it was, sophomore, junior year, and I was cheering and for basketball season. And I just know that as we're cheering, we're on the sidelines as the girls, right? And I had turned around, so I wasn't facing, because I was facing the crowd. And all of a sudden, one of the boys dives the ball. I happened to be the only cheerleader that he completely wiped out. It was cheerleader bowling, I tell you. That was what everybody said. Of course, you know, we had little tiny skirts on, and whoop, our little trunks are showing, and our tooties showing to the whole crowd. But it happened to be that same boy. And so everyone said how Troy fell for me. And it was just, and all I could think was like, well, he did kiss me in kindergarten, but that's awesome. Anyway. And I tell you what, I haven't mentioned it yet. I'm going to connect it really quickly here, because y'all, I taught dance for 20 something years, and I was known in my community for being able to teach anyone to do a cartwheel. Like, it didn't matter. That was just a thing that I was known for. So obviously cartwheels, right, and banana peels is interesting. And a few weeks ago, I was in the grocery store. I happen to know all of them up there. I'm good friends with almost everyone there. And I mean, seriously, the whole staff. But I kind of stepped on the banana cart, you know, the little thing that slides underneath where you hold the bananas. And the guy, the produce guy, of course, again, like I said, I know him. I was talking, we're all laughing, whatever. But when I turned around, I ended up stepping on that banana cart, and it went out from under me, you know, whatever. So he had to throw his arm out, and I fell full force into his arms. So what did all my friends do? And this is a kind of a shy guy. He's probably my age-ish, but kind of shy. And they were like, oh my gosh, Jaycie fell for you. So I said, now I have a banana peel story, a banana story. So, because they all know about cartwheels and banana peels. So yeah, there we go.
That's great.
Yes, awesome. So let's go back around though. I want to know what you guys, where people can find you and learn more about what you do. And if you have an offer today that you can share with our audience, please do. You guys make sure anyone watching or listening, hey, their links, Jaycie can't talk. Their links are going to be in the show notes. So it's really easy for you guys to just click and go find them. But I want them to tell you how to find them. So back to you, Bridgetta.
Okay, awesome. So you can find me in LinkedIn, Bridgetta-Newman at LinkedIn. And I do have a free offer. I have an offer for a free ebook. It's entitled 3 Reasons to Eat Vegan. And you can find that easily. Follow the links once from LinkedIn, and that will get you to the free ebook that you can download. And I think it'll be something that you'll learn some new things.
That's fascinating. I was vegetarian and then vegan for a couple of years. I'm not now, but I was. And I do know for me, I was just thinner, and I don't know all that. So now I'm curious. Anyway,
okay. All right.
I don't know. I'll be honest, y'all, I don't know if I go back, but I am curious. So I might be picking that up myself. All right, Laurie. Oh, I'm so curious. What do you got for us?
Well, what I have for you is a workbook on boundary setting. So most people know about boundaries as a big buzzword these days, but they don't know. Most people really don't know what their boundaries are until somebody trespasses them. Then they're mad. You know, so this is a workbook to figure out where your boundaries are and when it's really important for you to assert them. It's very good if you have children. Also, children need boundaries, and most people don't talk about that stuff. So it's called Mastering Your Boundaries, and you can get it at my website. You go to www.lauriehandlers.com, and you'll see it in the top bar. It'll say there's like a separate section that says get your workbook.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I've been told that it's been very effective for people. People have used it in their women's groups, and so it could be because people say, you know, I have a boundary. And so they expect then the other person or the other people in their life to uphold their boundaries, but it's on you to uphold your boundaries. So
yes. Oh, so true. So true. Yeah. I love that. Now I'm going to have to go pick that up too. I like it. I'm pretty good with boundary setting anymore, but I didn't used to be.
Mhm.
And so if y'all are listening to this, by the way, I talk a little bit about boundaries. If you go back and listen to, I forget which episode it is, I talked about Chip Boy when the young kid hit on me. And I was like, no, talk about boundaries, but how to gracefully do it, but yet be firm with your boundaries. So I'm sure Laurie's workbook is fantastic.
Thank you.
All right, Lisa, you're welcome.
Okay, so I have created a 30-day reset that I work with my clients on. And I do have a freebie, if you will. It is a kind of a snapshot, a day in the life, what that looks like with meal plans, all that good stuff, and with different recipes for that day. And you can get that at thedietculturedetox.com.
Fantastic. You guys, such amazingness and such a variety of things. This is why I love doing this. Right now, you guys, if you know of anybody obviously out there listening, or if you're one of those people going, man, I don't even know if my story, if anybody wants to hear it. Or Lisa said a while ago, like, a funny story. I have to come, what? How do I do? Wait. And it's just like brakes on. I signed up for something and I don't know what I'm doing. So anyway, but that's my jam. Absolutely helping you find your stories, the ones that sometimes are related to our business and sometimes they have nothing to do with it. I often love to tell my spider stories. I do live in Arizona as well as Laurie. We got some not Australia spiders, but we got some big ones around here. But it's telling these stories that help you connect to people. And like I said, it makes you unforgettable. You stand out from everybody else that does similar work to you. And it doesn't matter if your work is serious, you can still tell an entertaining story, even if it's not slapstick funny, right? It's just, there's so many examples already coming across through Cartwheels and Banana Peels and I always try to highlight and point those out. There's so many amazing ones. Obviously, Bridgetta's story we have funny parts, right? And we definitely all got laughs out of it, but it was also a little scary to say the least. So she gets to share that and other moms are going to relate to her. So remember that. I'm going to get off my soapbox. I was in I co-led an event this morning and I'm still on the soapbox, y'all. So sorry about that. But if you obviously want to work with me, let me know. I do one-on-one coaching with that and I do story circles, which is kind of like what we do here. It's a similar feeling of getting to practice your stories and have a supportive space. But obviously, if you want to be sitting around this virtual kitchen table with me, or those very rare moments that I'm getting ready to share where it's the barbecue pit and I've got a group of guys sitting around instead of the ladies, make sure you just reach out to me. All you got to do is go to cartwheelsandbananapeels.com. Bam. You can see episodes and you can request to be a guest. Oh, if you're a guy, I got to know personally because I have a different link for that. It's a different calendar. All right, you guys. Thank you, ladies, so much. I had so much fun sitting here with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was wonderful.
You.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
It was nice to meet you all.
Yes.
It's fantastic, you guys. All right, we are out of here for today, y'all. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. I'm Jaycie Cormac, your Rebel Storytelling Coach.